Hello, good evening. It's Friday night and the feeling's right. In the Know is back with the Racing Post and Coral to preview another red hot Saturday of action. And we're mixing codes as well. We're off to Ayr and Newbury for 8 previews this evening. What with the Craven meeting coming through this week as well, and a bit of Cheltenham action and Ayr and Perth and Sandown and all sorts of stuff. It's that time of year where you get a little bit of everything. If you're into racing, there's surely to be something to get excited about this week, and in particular on Saturday. Of course, we had a Scottish winner of the Grand National last week. Will we see a Scottish winner of the Scottish Grand National on Saturday, or will we see an English or Irish trained winner of the race at Ayr on Saturday afternoon? It is absolutely wide open. We could see the dose repeated with Lucinda Russell and Derek Fox having leading claims as well. And we've seen some classic clues. We've seen some nice 2-year-olds. We've seen some almost impossible flat handicaps, and we've got more of that to come tomorrow. We've got a Dewhurst winner at Newbury, of course. We've got a Ledger winner returning after a disappointing year in the shape of Hurricane Lane. So plenty to chat about as we get stuck into the show. It is live and interactive as ever. The chat box is right in front of me, so get involved. Good evening to everyone who's already watching, to Ricky, to Riley, to Chris, to Brutus's brutish virtues. Good evening to all of you. We'll chat to you throughout the evening. Now, I am once again left on my own in the studio. So my mascot is back, aren't you? There you go. Look at that. That is beautiful. That's again Keels. We found your replacement, yeah, it's all looking. It's not looking good for you, Keels. It's not looking good for you because, yeah, I reckon we've got the next Paul Kealy in the studio.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Right at the moment, I could not tip my hat, but I'm going to try my best for Saturday. It's been a bad couple of weeks for me. Bad start to the day. My laptop suddenly won't work, so I'm doing this on Skype on the phone, but hopefully we'll bag a few winners anyway.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting a POV of a biscuit in a box as Keels boils the kettle.
Well, I've got the phone tilted up. That's the ceiling of my hotel room.
It's wonderful, Keels. It's is it Tudor?
No.
You're up in Ayr.
Up in Ayr, yeah. Played golf today. My golf was worse than my tipping, so I'll tell you how that went. But it's a lovely day. I got us from chucking it down in London, but it's been really balmy here, really sunny all day long.
Lovely stuff. Keels has been on the golf course and tipping losers. Tom's been at home. Tipping any winners, Tom?
Didn't do any tips today, Ross. I'm sure they would have lost if I had, but I didn't do any. So I can't join Keels in the tipping losers camp, although, like him, I didn't have a very successful entry. Although I think we did find the winner of the bumper, didn't we? So it got us out of trouble with the bumper winner, me and you, Ross.
I know. I mean, if you're going to find a winner, it might as well be in the last, quite frankly. The last of the whole meeting. In fact, this is starting to become a theme, isn't it? The Martin Pipe seems to be the best race for us as well. The bumper at Aintree, perhaps. What's the last one tomorrow? Let's get stuck in. Never mind all the TV races. We've got another bumper.
It'll be the race that no one's looked at, or no one gives a damn about, and it'll be the one that we can just sort of say at the end of the day, do you know what? We had the winner of that, and everyone will think, yeah, right, we didn't bother with that. You'd had 16 losers beforehand.
To be fair, I did get about 4 messages on social media saying, great, lovely stuff, winner of the bumper, fantastic. So, in fact, the first one on here, Jabbock23, was thank Tom for Florida Dreams, 18-1 in last at Aintree. So, there are some people listening.
There we go. See? We're not that bad.
No. And to be fair, 18-1, over a 3-day meeting, you almost broke even.
Pays for a lot. Well, I tell you what, when Bow to Greatness went clear and then smashed into the last again, I nearly drove off to Beachy Head because that was cruel. That was.
It keeps happening to you, doesn't it? It keeps happening.
There was 3 or 4 of that meeting, which it was in front jump in the last, and then they smashed the last and got beat. But there we go. That's just, they're there to be jumped, as they say, Ross.
They are there to be jumped. Apart from tomorrow at Newbury, where there's
none to be jumped. Thank goodness.
We haven't seen him for a while. I was starting to worry that David Stevens had him taken out. But Simon Clare joining us from Scotland. How are you doing, Simon?
Yeah, good to be back. Been a lovely day here up in Ayr. As Paul will tell you, I mean, it's been blue sky, sun shining, strong wind. it's been lovely for all the crowd here at Ayr. I think the only person in the whole site who's like been getting stressed is the clerk of the course. He's going to be throwing some water on the track, I think, overnight to try and keep it good to soft. But no, it's been a cracking day here. Paul Nicholls had a treble. He's been in awesome form today. The correspondent Joe Tizard arrived late, won the last lot to apply. So that was great news for his owners who've got a horse tomorrow in Oscar Elites running here. And so it's a good start. Looking out now over the parade ring. All set fair for a lovely day tomorrow here in Scotland.
Yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. I turned the telly on and there was Bruni presenting from Ayr, still in his winter jacket. And I thought, what are you doing, man? It looks absolutely boiling. So, it was good stuff today, wasn't it? Some good finishes, like you said. Paul Nicholls bouncing back from a generally disappointing Aintree with some winners. But yeah, interesting to see, Simon, if those horses, if that reflects in the market tomorrow, and also if the horses that maybe are specifically aimed at this for the better ground and for the track, rather than going to the big festivals and then coming here as an afterthought.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing. I mean, I think we know that Aintree and Cheltenham to some extent are always going to almost ensure the ground is really on the soft side. With Cheltenham now, it's always good soft on the first day, if not softer. Aintree, rightly so, they try and make it soft. So this is the one meeting where I think there's an element of freedom to at least allow it to ride a bit quick. And there are plenty of horses out there who prefer that sort of ground. I think Off to a Flyer for Tizards was stuck in the mud at Sandown in that good race on Imperial Cup Day. Just didn't handle that ground at all, but loved the bounce off the ground today. And to be fair, I think of course on the record this week saying that actually the rain and the sunshine has meant there's a lovely covering of grass. It looks fantastic, really lush and green. It's just that, as I say, it's good to soft, but it's just, there's always those trainers who start to get a bit nervy when, it starts to err towards good, these days, and understandably so. But no, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be lovely ground tomorrow. It's just whether there's a few horses who want it a bit softer who may come out.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, but we'll get stuck into the cards in just a second. Like I said, if you've got fancies, get involved in the chat as well. But we'll be back with the first race after this. Involved in the Racing Post Members Club. Then as we look ahead to Ayr, starting off, we'll look at a few races over the sticks, and then we'll switch to the flat over at Newbury, and we'll kick off with a 2 mile handicap chase here, where Frere Dame is 7-4 favourite. Oh, speaking of painful Aintree defeats, Pay the Piper 5-1, Elixir de Nuts is 13-2, Return Ticket 7s, 15-2 Hassan Key, 8-1 Coast Guard Station, Melistic is 9-1, Baron de Middleton ran today and does not go, and you've got Gold de Bois, Ardera Cross running as well. What a winner that would be here. But Dan Skelton has had a few runners this week at Cheltenham, Tom, who disappointed, who'd gone through the gears in the handicaps and found horses who are a little bit fresher and have been aimed at that meeting. But you get the feeling that it's been a definite plan to skip Cheltenham and Aintree with this horse. And yeah, he that Black Jerry form, of course, which you've mentioned several times over the past few weeks.
Yeah, Black Jerry came out and won, didn't he, at Sussex, the Plumpton afterwards. So, yeah, just a little bit disappointed with his finishing effort that day. Now, it might have been that he was getting ready. That was the sort of get it ready race for this. And I know the Skeltons have had this race in mind for ages, but 7-4 is plenty short. Now, this is a good race. There's plenty in there with a chance. Last year's winner, Return Ticket, is back. He looked a totally different horse at Carlisle last time, didn't he? On the better ground. I haven't seen what Keels is tipped, but I'm imagining Elixir Do Nuts is on the short list, because I think you can forgive him his Cheltenham run. Probably the ground went against him. Pay the Piper was your fancy the other day, wasn't it, Ross? He was a bit unlucky, finished strongly. So I think this is really hard. Melistic was second in the race last year, was he? Or placed in the race some. So I think it's really hard. I mean, I don't like Ferrero. I like Ferrero Dame as a horse. Ferrero Dame as a horse, but not at 7-4. I think that's plenty short enough. I'm sure there are plenty out there who want to back him. But Harry Skelton's injured. Bridget Bridget's on it, isn't she? So, I think she's really good, but 7-4 is plenty short enough. I would prefer Return Ticket and Elixir de Nuts. I think on the ground would be my two.
Okay, there you go. 7-1 and 13-2 respectively. Yeah, paid the piper. Yeah, I thought he had a cracking chance at Aintree. I thought he was going to finish out the back of the telly and then rattled home to just miss out on a place. But like you said, yeah, I thought Mallistic was interesting as well. Keels, I mean, again, soft ground at Cheltenham, certainly not up his street. And then Grade 2 action before that. Rate him on his Doncaster run and he'd have a chance. So it's open. What do you fancy?
Yeah, it was Elixir de Nuts for me. I mean, I did fancy him for the Grand Annual. And, Graham went against him. He certainly doesn't want it stopped. I also had it in the back of my mind that he doesn't really want a big field. And so we're now down to single figures now with Barons of Middleton being out. I think that absolutely suits him down to the ground. And his earlier form really does stack up well. The thrashing of Galahad Crest, who bolted up at Warwick next time and finishing second in the game spirit and not being really punished by the handicap before it. So I still think he's got a big chance. I expected Ferradan to be favoured. I didn't expect it to be 7-4. So I'll take the chance with Elixir de Nuts. I do think he was pretty much in the form of his life before that Cheltenham run.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, over obstacles. Yeah, you're right, Keels. He's won 6 races and he's faced, and in those races it's 6 runners, 4 runners, 3 runners, 5 runners. So yeah, maybe just he likes to be able to get into a rhythm in a smaller field rather than these huge 16 runner handicaps where they set off at a mad gallop from the get-go. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. Simon, what did you make of this opener? 7-4, very short indeed.
Yeah, I think you've got to take him on. I mean, he's obviously won his couple of races. He ran well last time for the same mark he's running tomorrow. But, I mean, I like Elixir de Nuts, obviously trained by Joe Tizard. He had the winner today. He actually ran really well. Obviously, I was watching him closely in the Grand Annual for a long way. He just faded. Hit the last. I think it was interfered with at the last or whatever. But he ran a good race. So I think back in the smaller field, I can see him running really well. And at 13-2, he looks a sort of solid each way player. I don't think he'll be far away. I think Return Ticket's the wonder. I mean, Rebecca Menzies is a Coral Racing Club trainer, know well. She had a kind of quiet period, a frustrating period through February and early March when she was getting placed horses. But she's really now suddenly firing more cylinders on flat and jump. She's 6 winners from 23 starts in the last couple of weeks. And this horse won last year off I think a pound higher mark. Was very impressive last time out. This looks really, really solid for yard in form. And so Return Ticket each way for me at 7-1 looks the bet.
Okay, there we go. We lost a picture there, but Return Ticket, yeah, 7-1 for the informed Rebecca Menzies. Just quickly as well, Simon, you got a time-specific price boost, I believe.
We have. Oh yes, we have got a time-specific price boost. Easy for you to say. Kitty's Light or Monbeg Genius to win the Scottish Grand National, 3-1 from 2-1. If you look at their price at the moment, they're 5-1 each of 2, which works out just around 2-1. 3-1, either of those horses to win would effectively mean they're both 13-2 chances. So if you think one of the front two of the Coral Scottish Grand National are going to win tomorrow and you can't make your mind up, we'll back them at 3-1 together. That's a max bet £20 up till 7 again. So it definitely looks like value to me. But you have to fancy.
Yes, well, you don't have to fancy him. That's the joy of value, isn't it? If you think it's mathematically value, then who cares if you fancy him? Just put the money on.
Exactly. Good stuff.
Okay, that's the opener there. That price boost, of course, is for the Scottish National, which we'll come to very shortly indeed. But we've got another handicap chase on the agenda in the 150. We're up in trip though to 3 miles, and another fairly short price favoured as well in the shape of City Chief at 2-1. Oscar Elite at 9-2. Sail Away 11-2. Temptation in Milan is 6-1. 30-2 Where It All Began. 10-1 Ned Tanner, who's had his form frank today. Forward Plan is 12-1. Hold the Note 18-1. And Donna's double the outsider of the bunch. Again, we were talking about horses being aimed at this meeting, and clearly City Chief, who has already won at this meeting, has been kept for this. Keels, and Frere Darm's short enough. I can kind of see the 2-1 about City Chief, though he's clearly a bit of a cut above this lot in terms of ability. He's got course form, and they've kept him fresh. And the Henderson horses have been running well at Ayr today.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, and he's obviously has been prepared for it, but he did go up £7 for winning. It was a total at Weatherby, wasn't it? Which turned into a bit of a weak race, really, didn't it? When the odds-on favourite pulled up a long way from home. I'd just be a little bit concerned about that. And I think that, if he's been prepared for it, I'm pretty sure that Sail Away has of Dan Skelton's. Now, he was actually down to running this race last year. He was non-runner with a bet certificate. But he'd have been £12 better off for 5 lengths with Dusart last year had he run. And obviously Dusart won the race. He went on, he ran in the spring. He only got off the mark in May. So he remains a novice. Bolted up on his first crack at 3 miles over fences, albeit in a rubbish race. I thought he stayed really, really well when second to Jetoile at Jepso. One on soft ground he doesn't like, it was over 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs. He's a good ground 3 miler, basically, is what he is. On his chase debut, beginning of last season, he was giving £6 and got beat 6 lengths by Korak Rambler, of all horses. So he's got a bit of decent form in the book himself, and I think he's well handicapped, and I'm pretty sure he's been laid out for it.
Okay, there you go. An alternative against the favourite then in the shape of Sail Away. Tom, do you have an alternative against the favourite? Was it another one of those races where you think, okay, I like the market leader, but again, 2-1 ain't my bag?
Exactly that. I mean, I think he's potentially a class above him, as you pointed out, Ross. But he's running 3 chases. I think he's run against 6 horses in total, hasn't he? It's very small fields, different kettle of fish. This obviously it's not a massive field, but he's plenty short enough. He's 2-1 in a novice chase off top weight. With some proper horses against him. Oscar Elite's won graded races, hasn't he? Get everything Keel says about Sail Away. I like Ned Tanner, actually. I think he's a big price. I think the form of his Kelso win over 3 miles on good ground has worked out really well. Latitude won by 6.5 or 7 lengths afterwards. Flash Galonge, who's fancied for the Scottish National, was behind him. He's won since. He bumped into Richmond Lake last time over a trip too short on ground too soft and ran really well. Richmond Lake came out and beat all those good horses at Ayr today in a really competitive race off a higher mark. So I just think Ned Tanner's going to run really well. He's close relation to Ted Veal, who was rated 160 or something, 155 at his best. So he's every right to be a good horse. He's right down the bottom of them. He's getting a lot of weight from the ones at the top. Big fan of the Alexanders. I just think Ned Tanner's probably been trained for the race. I think he's got everything going for him. So I don't really fancy Oscar Elite. City Chief's too short. I fully get the Sail Away argument Keel's put up. I just thought Ned Tanner at double the price would do for me.
Okay, Ned Tanner then is a 10-1 shot here for this 3-mile handicap chase. Tom doesn't particularly fancy Oscar Elite, Simon, but of course the Tizard team had a winner with their 1 runner today, and Oscar Elite just doesn't quite get home at Cheltenham, does he? But you get the feeling that this test is more up his street, and he's receiving a few pounds from a horse who's been running in inferior races to him in the shape of City Chief, so he's got to have a little bit of a squeak for the yard that of course you sponsor.
Oh, I really fancy him. I think Joe does too. I think Joe really fancied him going into Cheltenham. The only thing he was frustrated by to an extent was the ground. He's a spring horse who was placed in Albert Bartlett. He was placed in the Ulster last year. I think he thought he had him in better shape than last year. The ground came up soft. He's a good ground horse. And he also just didn't miss the break, really. Harry Cobden gave him a very a skillful ride, just dropping him out, taking his time. He actually came there on the outside next to Rambler and just didn't quite get home up the hill. But the form is strong with Carrot Rambler going on to win the Grand National. Bombay Genius is 5-to-1 favourite for the Scottish National. And I think this ground, this trip, this time of year, that weight, that handicap mark, I think he's got an outstanding chance. I really do. And given him weight, he has beaten hardly any rivals this year. Clearly a good horse, though. I think he only once finished out the first 2. That was when he went over to Ireland in Punchdown. And you respect the opposition, but I think Oscar Elite be my idea. I think I'm capping him later, so Oscar Elite's my idea of the best bet.
Yeah, I think this is the first time I've genuinely looked at Oscar Elite in a race and thought, yeah, okay, I can see this. These are his conditions. The 2 horse, that 3-runner race at Ascot, of course, the Reynoldstown, going on. I can't even say the Kinondo Kwetu, who finished 3rd, ran a blinder at Aintree. Bold Endeavour just got touched off the other day, and Harry Cobden, of course, 3 from 4 today, and his only ride that got beat on the running as well. So this looks, the more I look at it, the harder this race looks. Actually, fair enough. Okay, Oscar Elite is a 92 shot. Tom, though, you're going with?
I'm going for Ned Tanner, Ross.
Ned Tanner, it is. Keels?
Sail Away.
Sail away. There you go. Big Enya fan. Was it Enya? I think it was Enya. And Simon?
Oscar Elite all the way.
There you go. That is a strong fancy indeed. The Scottish Champion hurdle up next. We're over the smaller obstacles for a red-hot renewal of this. 11 of them going to post. Again, it might not be a massive field, but hard to rule out many of them. A lot of them, of course, coming back for another crack at the race and with plenty of form. But it's Colonel Mustard who heads the betting at 9-2, 11-2 Soaring Glory. Ludesud is 6-1. Rubord is 13-2. Salsada is 7s. Anna Benina coming back for another go at 7s. Nemean Lion doesn't go. Milkwood is a 9-1 shot. I mean, the fact that First Street is double figures in here suggests it's going to be a warm order. Highway 102, of course, comes out of that county hurdle as well. And Paris-Encore and Royal Mogul make up the field for this 225. But yeah, this is good stuff, this, Tom. Like I said, there's clearly a few horses who've come back for another go at it, like Anna Benina, I thought was a little bit unsuited by track position at Cheltenham. First Street again, who comes out of that race as well. This flat galloping track should suit him. Soaring Glory's down to a nice mark. This looks wide open.
Yeah, as the market would suggest there, Ross. Look, 9-2, everything's about the same price, isn't it? It's like a dog race. They're all about the same price there. Colonel Mustard clearly ran very well. Kelso, didn't he, up in the Moor Battle up there? Very solid chance, nothing wrong with him. Soaring Glory, but if he's back to the form that he showed when he won the Betfair hurdle, he's thrown in. They're all the same. I quite fancy Rubard for Paul Nicholls, just simply because I think he's probably got a lot of improvement in him. We saw Al Affadil go up to Ayr today for Nicholls and win the handicap hurdle up there, and it's sort of on the bridle. He'd be my fancy, but as you've pointed out, everything's got a chance in this. I thought it was really, really hard.
Okay, so maybe a reverse forecast with the favourite, Rhubarb and Mustard?
No, I think I know. Very good. Really caught me.
Really caught you. You just caught yourself. You just caught yourself. I mean, it's absolute twaddle, isn't it? Absolute nonsense. Yeah. So it's understandable that I nearly caught you. Keels, this is your type of race. Are you going with the Cheltenham form, or are you going elsewhere?
No, I've been all over Soaring Glory for a while. I've been waiting to come back out. He's a horse who wants 2 miles in a reasonable sized field. If he hadn't fallen, he'd have won 6 out of the 8 times. He'd have run in over 2 miles with the fields of 10 or more. He has won 5 of them. He's also won every time pressed up when he went over fences, and he hated them. So he returns from a break for 112 days. He likes a good pace to aim at. You've got Rubo in there. You've got Highway 102, Paris-Encore, Royal Mogul. All front runners want to go forward. He's going to set it up perfectly for him, and I think he's going to go very, very close. The one I actually fear more than anything else is one of the older horses in the race. Milkwood won the race 2 years ago, or £4 higher. He shaped really, really eye-catchingly at Wetherby over 2 far to start to go, and then the ground went against him at Cheltenham. So both going out there, the 2 oldest horses in the race, I think, or 2 of them. But I think one of those 2 will win it. I am hoping it's Soaring Glory.
Okay, Soaring Glory, then an old friend here in the Scottish Champion hurdle. But yeah, we've got a mixture of up-and-comers here, Simon, and horses who've been around the block, including in this race. So which side of the fence are you on?
Well, we're sponsoring the race, and we're pleased. It's not necessarily the biggest field, but I think it's a really competitive field. And we put up a good prize for this. You got runners from Ireland, our In the Know special. You've got Anna Benina, who won the race last year, carrying £54, and Colonel Mustard, the favourite. They're 92 and 32 respectively. And our In the Know special is combining those, either of those to win. Was 9-4, now 11-4. So again, on the value play, that works out to a good bit better than back to both in singles. So if you fancy one of them to win, you can get 11-4 for the special. We're paying 4 places, which, given that our 12 runners now in line has come out, is obviously encouraging an each way bet. Though it's not easy, given they've all got a chance of filling the frame. I'm a bit like Kealy. I'm drawn to Soaring Glory. He's obviously had a sort of almost a non-campaign this year, but ran well in the hurdle of a higher mark last year. This is his kind of trip. John Joe's in good form. He's coming all this way to have a crack at this. And 11-2 chance. Got a bit of class on that third to Edward Thompson hurdle from years ago, but it's a tough race, and you can for lots of them. So that's probably my heart ruling my head.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, Soaring Glory is an 11-2 shot. Wide open Scottish champion hurdle. Tom, what's the angle?
I found it really difficult. I probably stick it out, but I thought Rhubarb, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think that's right. Rhubarb probably would be my selection in this, but I think it's really hard.
Was stick it out intentional as well?
So again?
Was you said stick it out? Was that intentional? Are you building on the rhubarb and custard? A stick of rhubarb? Never mind. It's all right. I get it. You've crumbled under pressure. Anyway, Keels?
Awful, mate. Awful.
Sorry, I'm sat in here on my own with a ceramic horse. All right, I've got to amuse myself somehow.
I just didn't even bother replying to that one. It was so bad.
Anyway, okay. Keels, you're back in Soaring Glory, I believe.
Sorry, mate. I didn't get that. You're breaking up on this.
I said you're backing Soaring Glory.
I am definitely back. Well, I have backed Soaring Glory. Yeah.
There you go. Lovely
Kealy
stuff.
flipping lower and lower and lower on that screen. He's going to be out of shot in a minute, isn't he? Kealy? There's going to be a roof. There's going to be a ceiling.
There's going to be.
Where have I got to go?
No, that's worse. That's worse. That is worse. Do you know those fairground games where you've got like a rubber hammer and and you had to hit them when they pop up? We could do a little Paul Kealy special with that. There we go. Look at that face.
There we go.
That's it.
It looks like he's caught the sun.
He has.
I have. Yeah, I just put a hat on.
He's either caught the sun or had his teeth whitened. One of the two.
Yeah.
Simon, what wins the Scottish Champion Hurdle? Your heart was telling us a selection.
Soaring Glory. I'm with Paul Kealy here. Soaring Glory's going to win.
Soaring Glory is, yeah. And again, do I go in again on First Street? But I do think this track is better than Cheltenham for him, so it does look overpriced. But again, it is a wide open contest. Let's have a look. Helen Sheridan says Colonel Mustard in the Scottish Champion Hurdle with the lead piping. Lovely. And the Secrets of the Solent, got some cracking names on here tonight. Can't have Soaring Glory, he has lost the plot. And Mark Sally agrees with me that First Street, 4 places, is the angle. Moving on then, if First Street goes close and City Chief goes close, it could well be a short price of Balco Coastal, as Nicky Henderson has sent a few up to Ayr on Saturday. He's had 2 plays today, of course, and 7-4 Balco Coastal. Completely bombed out at Cheltenham, but this is slightly calmer waters. That's All Right Gino is 9-2. Unexpected Party 5's Thunder Rock 11-2. Tell Me Something Girl 6-1. Hang In There is 11's Richmond Lake. In theory is 18-1, although unlikely we'll see him. And it feels a bit, Keels, like this is, the horses from this grade who haven't quite made it elsewhere, and they've all turned up and decided to give it a good old go in what is apparently a grade 2. It's a funny one, isn't it, on paper?
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it was a 17 lengths. It was Balco Coastal was beat. That's all right. Called up. Thunder Rock was beat 22. So it's a strange one. Balco Coastal does have the best ball, but he was pretty tame at Cheltenham, wasn't he? I just prefer Thunder Rock. After all this waiting for him to run over 3 mile, I didn't think he got home. And he actually won a novice days over 2 mile earlier in the season on good ground, really easy. And I think he might just enjoy a bit of good ground. So I'll take a chance on him. I just think Balco Coastal is just a little bit too short.
Okay, fair enough. Just maybe talk a little bit quieter for the next one. I don't think I've ever said that to you, Keels. It's usually the opposite, but I think the mic is just struggling with it's cutting out when the volume gets above a certain point.
You want me to talk? You want me to be a bit quieter? Sorry, I'm so far away from the phone sitting here.
That's fine. Yeah, I can see that you're trying to project, but the phone's going. Yeah. What's this bloke shouted at me for? So maybe whisper.
Calm down.
Whisper seductively into the microphone instead, perhaps. Tom, could you whisper seductively and tell us your fancy for this novice chase?
Well, I didn't hear a word Keel said. It's interesting, Balco Coastal, isn't it? 7-4 after he finished last in a race that hasn't worked out well at Cheltenham. I understand he's working the house down, but I'm told he always works the house down at Nicky Henderson. They've always thought he was sort of one of their best horses. He could easily bounce back. It's not a great race, is it? That's All Right Gino, doesn't jump well enough for me and didn't run very well in the plate. Unexpected Party, I sort of picked up the pieces late on, didn't he, in the Turners once again. Thunder Rock's not far behind him, is he, on on the form behind Jerry Colomb in the Sandown race. But he doesn't jump well enough. I thought Tell Me Something Girl might run quite well myself. I know she's not been brilliant over fences, but she is a former Cheltenham winner, I think, isn't she? Unless I'm going mad. And I think ground and the way the race will be run will suit her. So I'm look, Balco Costo could be a class above, but I thought there was reasons to take on all the others, but Tell Me Something Girl, really.
Yeah, she won the Mayor's Novice, didn't she? And then got brought down in the Mayor's Hurdle as well when getting into it. And Henry de Bromhead's, he's having a right all week, isn't he?
Yeah.
He had a winner on the flat at Cork today, so they're all in good nick. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it is wide open. I know what you mean about Thunder Rock, but I do like to see horses come back. He's coming back to Ayr. I know it was over hurdles, but sometimes, I don't know, it just rekindles a bit of enthusiasm going somewhere that maybe suits him a little bit better. I did think good ground round here meant that 11-2 was maybe a little bit big for him.
He's got to jump, hasn't he? He's got to jump, Ross. Yeah. If he jumps properly, he's got a very good chance. He's been a little bit sloppy, I thought, the last couple of times. I fancied him at Sandown, and I fancied him again at Cheltenham to run better than he did. He just was a bit sloppy.
Yeah, I guess, the quicker ground potentially might make it a bit easier for him.
I mean, he can jump well, can't he? Because we saw that at Ascot at the start of the season when he won that race really impressively. I mean, beat Solo out of sight, didn't he? And Solo's gone on to win a graded race, so he's got the ability for sure. He just needs to be a little bit, he just can be a bit of a lummox at his fences, is how I describe him. A bit like myself, funnily enough.
Yeah. I think between a lot of us, I think we're all lummoxes really deep down, aren't we? So,
Good word, that, isn't it? That's my word for the day. I'm going to try and get that in a couple more times. Lummox. Yeah,
very, very evocative, isn't it? Anyway, I think the only person who isn't a lummox on the team is Simon Clare, to be fair. Much more streamlined, I would say, in terms of the team tonight. Simon, what did you make of this? We've got an extra place, at least, for this novice chase.
We have. It's 3 places instead of 2. So if you fancy Tell Me Something Girl, Tom's selection, which I think is a 1 chance. Obviously, Kenny Alexander owns her. He's obviously based up here. He'll be here tomorrow. But still, it's a long way for her to come from it. I think it's his only runner a few days up here at Ayr. So the fact that coming tells a story. She was a bit disappointed since her Mayor's Novice Hurdle win. But just the last, this season, she started to show signs of recovery. But I think this is a race we've got to take on Balco Coastal. Finished last. Dad's all right. Was well fancied for the plate. Pulled up. Could bounce back on better ground. Thunder Rock, ran okay last time. The one here I'm interested in, hang in there. This is a horse who clearly loves a really decent ground, so much so that when it was pulled up on good ground at Cheltenham in October, the trainer said the gelding was unsuited by the good ground and would prefer a faster service. I mean, brilliant like that. And basically it's got form and good to firm. It's a summer jumper, but it's clearly really lightly raced, clearly able. And I know the owner, Andrew Gamble, is was up there today for tomorrow, just to watch this one horse. And it's and Emma Lavelle's had a very quiet season, but he's rounding into form. So as a value player, I think there at about 11-1 each way with those 3 places might be the play. There is an in the nose special Henderson double, which I presume is still this price because City Chief has been quite well back, but it was City Chief and Balco Coastal both to win. City Chief is now trading around the 2-1, maybe just shy of 2-1, and Balco Coastal 50 weight. So again, definitely a value play. If you fancy them both, brilliant, back it. And if you're not sure, you haven't got a huge view, but you like value, it looks like the value price at 40.
Okay, yeah, 14-1 for them both to win by over 2 lengths. Balco Coastal won by 9 on his 1 win this season, to be fair. We'll just go back to Keels and see if we can just, get a word I can understand for this 3 o'clock as you quietly and calmly tell us what you fancy.
I should do so as quietly and calmly as possible, but bear in mind I cannot barely hear a word any of you lot are saying, but I am backing Thunder Rock.
Perfect. That was absolutely spot on. That was chef's kiss. Lovely. Okay, Thunder Rock. Yeah. So we're kind of in agreement there, I think, with that one. Tom, you're going with?
I'm going with the mare. Tell Me Something Girl. I just think, as Si says, I think this will probably been a bit of a plan for her, and if she, I think she's got the ability to win it.
Okay.
For sure.
There we go. Yeah, and just what was I going to say? What happens if Richmond Lake comes out, Simon? Are we still 3 places, 6 runners?
Ooh, good question. I don't know the answer to that. I suspect that United Traders might take away the 3 places. Good question. I don't know the answer, Rob. That's a good enough answer. Ask the horse head to your left.
Okay. James Knight, what do you make? To be fair, James Knight would be on his back, wouldn't he? What else have we got? Tell me something, girl. Back over hurdle, says Mark. Let's have a look. Doghouse Riley does not like this race at all, and neither does anyone else apparently, because there's no selections whatsoever, just negativity about how the race is going to line up. But not if you back the winner. Right, let's move on to the Scottish Grand National, of course. A big race with a big field, 23. And Monbeg Genius and Kitty's Light 5-1 joint favourites here. Your Own Story is 15-2. Melina Girl 12s with Man of the People. 14-1 Flash Collonge, 16-1 Flower of Scotland. Cap de Nord is 16-1. Plenty of others in with chances. Magnus Sam was very good last time out. Bounced back to form. Empire Steel would be a frustrating winner, I think, if some of us didn't back that one. I think we've probably followed that one off a cliff a couple of times. Dusart is very attractively handicapped, although he's apparently lost the plot as well on his last few starts. But it's wide open, this, Keels. But in fact, I'm going to come to you first, Tom. Wide open, this. I mean, a few things. First things first, let's hope this is significantly less eventful than the National from a week ago. But again, you've got a couple of angles. You've got the horses who clearly have a bit in hand. Monbeg Genius ran a really good race at Cheltenham without jumping a single fence, and potentially a couple of others as well. And you've got your Kitty's Light, for example, who's been insanely well handicapped over the course of the season.
I'm a little bit confused. I thought Monbeg Genius could jump really well. Maybe I was watching the wrong horse, Ross, but I thought Monbeg Genius is a really good jumper. I was a little bit I backed him at Cheltenham. I thought he ran a cracking race. I think it's.
I'm going to have to watch it back. I'm sure in the back of my mind, I'm sure I remember him ploughing through a couple, and I remember thinking, God, he's running a really good race. But I'll have to, no, I mean, you're probably right.
I think he's a brilliant jumper. I thought he has an obvious chance. I think the form of the Ultima's lights out good. I think obviously Correct Rambler, but I think Fast or Slow is going to be a graded horse too. The Gofford won that big handicap. The first four in the market were miles clear of all the others, so I think that's lights out form. It's just whether he's recovered after on the back of that. He's only a novice. He's up in the weights. He's got to stay the trip. I think he probably will. I always had him down as a Welsh national horse, but maybe he can win the Scottish national first. He likes heavy ground, which is why I thought that. Kitty's Light is. I'm going to get the word in again. He jumped like a lummox when he won the Ida. If he jumps like that again, he'll finish out the back of the telly. I don't know how he got. I think it must have been a weak race because he smashed into every fence. So he's off my list. Kitty's Light. Prefer Tristan Williams' other one actually, Captain Orr. I thought he was quite a big price. But Your Own Story is obvious. It's the story, isn't it? Lucinda Russell, Derek Fox going for the double. He will definitely stay. He's got plenty of upside. Just whether if he gets into a rhythm, he did at Wetherby out in that small field when he won over the trip basically. Jumped very well last time, but he still got beaten. He's up in the weights for getting beaten last time, so I thought he's got a good chance, isn't he? The Russells are brilliant in these nationals, so he has to be on the list. I thought Melina Girl was very good in the Ulster National. She could go well, but the two I like, I'm a sucker for a novice in these races. The Man of the People and Flash Collonge. I thought at the prices you could back them both. Man of the People was really good at Chepstow at the start of the season. I had him down when he won his first race. I thought that's a national winner of the future or a staying handicap winner of the future. He jumps really well. He likes good ground. As I always say on these shows, I'm a big fan of Fergal O'Brien. He's a good target trainer, so he was first on the list. I think you can forgive him his last run. I think it was quite a good race to start with, but I think it was a get it ready race for this, and it was on soft ground. He must have good ground, so he's won. And I wasn't going to go for anything else, and then I just watched Paul Nicholls have those runs, have all those winners today, and then I look back through Flash Collonge's form, and he's like £11 lower than his hurdles mark, and he was a good hurdler. He just jumped much better last time. After he won last time at Newbury, Nicholls said, "We're going to go to Ayr, and he's going to be better over a mile further. He'll just keep running over a mile further." He won it with Vincente. It's a similar type of horse, not that long ago, and I just sort of got suckered into the Nicholls factor. So they would be my two. If people out there are looking for a really, really nutty one, you can obviously make a case for the previous winner, Mighty Thunder, who looked on his way back last time and has a very good jockey, Patrick Wadge, claiming 5. But I thought the big outsider of the whole lot, Wait and See, I couldn't believe Danny Mullins was coming over to ride the 66-1 outsider unless there was a reason. And then I looked through her form, and on good ground over staying trips, she's pretty consistent. Now she's shown nothing. She's shown nothing this season. But you go back to Punchestown last year, where she was off a much higher mark. She was desperately unlucky. She finished third in a 3-mile 7 race, but she would have been right up there with them if she hadn't almost been brought down 3 out. I just thought with Danny Mullins on, people sitting around might want to throw a tenner at wait and see at 66-1. But the two I'm most interested in are the Novice's Man of the People and Flash Collonge.
Yeah, you get the feeling. I mean, why come here when Punchestown's next week? I guess it's.
Well, it's ground. It's ground. I think she's just a totally different mare on good ground. I don't know what it's. You'd have no idea what it's going to be on Punchestown, but here we know it's going to be up her street, and she stays. You just got to forgive a whole load of rubbish runs, including last time in blinkers.
Yeah, which is a big ask given how many horses here are ready and raring to go. But quite a few angles there, and like I said, dominated by unexposed types. Last week, Keels with improvement for the trip. There's quite a few of them in here. I was quite interested. He's a 9-year-old, but it's taken him a while to think, you know what, let's give Elvis Mail a bit of a trip. And he's absolutely bolted up last time out at Kelso. He's got good form at the track. I thought he was a little bit interested. It's taken him years to go, you know what, this horse stays.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you step a horse up a trip, they get it really well. You've got new opportunities with them, haven't you? Like, you know, and the way I was looking at it, I'm looking at it that way with Melina Girl and Gavin Cromwell. She tried a marathon trip for the first time last time in the Ulster National. And it looked like she just got getting started turning her own. She won going away. That was on soft ground, but she's got loads and loads of potential. Trainer says she liked it. And, you know, Kitty's Light ran into a banging full mare last year, and he might just be doing so again. I do think he's got a much better chance than Tom suggests. I think he's going to jump a lot better out of this good ground. He got quite sticky at Newcastle. And of course, he's got cheek pieces on for the first time since back in the Bet365 Gold Cup last season, but he travelled much better than he normally does. So I make him the big danger. I'd be concerned about Tom Genius. One, everything other than Korak Rambler out of the Ulster performance. They've got to prove he's come out of it okay. And I'm not 100% certain staying. Stands over 3-4 plus, about 148 in Greenham Island. Still a bit worried about when we'll truly see the trip. And I had backed the winner 2 years ago, Mighty Thunder, because I just think last 2 runs, just signs of coming back to form. And again, he'll like the ground as well.
Okay, again, I'm going to have to ask you just even quieter than that, Keels, again, because the microphone is breaking up.
Remember, as one of your brethren, do you remember the old comedian Norman Collier, who used to do the sketch where his microphone cut out every other word? I think we're with Norman Collier up in there.
Right.
Every other word.
That's exactly how I'm hearing it. That's exactly how I'm getting you lot, funnily enough. That's it.
It's just two blokes arguing over Skype with the microphones cutting out this.
Anyway, Melina Girl and Mighty Thunder.
There we go, lovely. There we go. It's like that.
I'll try again. I'm sure I'm no quieter.
That's all right. It's fine. You're a lovable lummox, Keels. It's fine. Simon Clare, can you again talk calmly, smoothly, and quietly into the microphone and tell us what angles, offers, extra places, whatever you got for the Coral Scottish National?
Well, we got 5 places for starters. Look, it's a good field. It's not a full field. It's a competitive race. It's always one of the big betting races of the year. We love sponsoring it and have done since 2007. Kitty's Light, I've just literally saw Christian Williams an hour ago, and he's pretty confident. You know, the horse is actually lower. I think it's £3 lower than the. I mean, he's a brilliant trainer. Again, his horse is handicapped. £3 lower than his second last year, and yet he's off the back of winning the Ida. He's following the same route as last year's winner, Win My Wings, who won the Ida and the Coral Scottish National. He took Win My Wings out of last year's Scottish National. Kitty's Light will be a good winner. And he deliberately left the cheek pieces off in the Ida because he felt he had a well-handicapped horse, and he thought that might contribute to the poor jumping display. And he knows Kitty's Light can jump better, and he said he's done a lot of work on the jumping. The cheek pieces are on. I mean, he's just really bullish, and I think it's very easy to try and avoid the favourite or take the favourite on when it's so short in such a big competitive field. But to me, I think he's going to run a massive race. Probably Genius. I know John O'Neill's worried about the ground. It was soft ground at Cheltenham. He thinks he likes, obviously he's got great form on much softer ground. I know it's good to soft, and we've got to keep an eye on the weather and keep an eye on the ground. But there's definitely sort of a feeling that he really could have done with a bit more rain. And outside of that, it's obviously a very competitive race, and the guys have made some cases, some also bigger prices. Obviously, we've got that in the no special, the 3-1 till 7 p.m. 3-1 on Monbeg Genius or Kitty's Like to Win was 2-1 at the prices. That looks a reasonable price, 2-1, £20 maximum bet. We're betting 4-1 a female train winner, which takes in Your Own Story. What else we got? Mighty Thunder, who I noticed in the Russell Picks will run a big race. She was on a preview last night, talking that up at big odds. Flash to Zane, trained by Liz Doyle, and Ruthless Article with Rebecca Curtis. So 4 running for you for that special 4-1 a female train winner. 4-1 Christian Williams to train the winner. So that's Kitty's Light at 5-1 and Captain Or at 16-1. There's been money for Captain Or just this evening. And then 11-2 Kitty's Light on Monbeg Genius. Keep on to say Monbeg Dude. Monbeg Genius to win by over 5 lengths. So either of those to win by over 5 lengths is 11-2. If you think they're going to win, take the 3-1. And if you think either are going to win by over 5 lengths, like Win My Wings did last year, it's 11-2.
Okay, there we go. Price boosts galore then in the Scottish National. But selections, I'll go with Elvis Mail. Tom?
Man of the People would be my main selection.
There you go. And you are indeed. Paul Kealy?
Yeah, Melina Girl for me. I also back Mighty Thunder.
Look at that. Perfect. Absolutely pitch perfect. And Simon?
I think Kitty's Light's going to win. I just do. And I do think Mighty Thunder's going to run well. I would love, as a sponsor of the Coral Scottish Grand National, I would love Flower of Scotland to win. I'm not sure. She may not even run because once off the ground, there's a singer belting out Flower of Scotland as the horses line up the takes across the grandstands. I would love that to win for Raymond Anderson Green. He's a huge supporter of this meeting, but I suspect it may not be her ground.
That is true, but as long as Keels is the one who belts it out, I fully support that idea. Let's have a look at Newbury then, shall we? Very, very different proposition at Newbury. Of course, we've got some potential classic types. We've got some past classic types, of course, here, including St Ledger winner Hurricane Lane at 10-11. Mojo Star 130, Isra 15-2, Max Vega 8-1, Lone Eagle 12, Surrey Miss 22s, Grand Alliance 28s. Farhan is the 40-1 outsider of the bunch here for this Group 3 over a mile and a half. And a bit like that Novice chase at Ayr earlier on, Keels. Horses who've had a bit of a rough time of it over the past 12 months and haven't quite found their level. Hurricane Lane, of course, had a shocking season. Mojo Star had a great season, but only ran once. Lone Eagle switched yards as well, so a lot need to bounce back here. What's the angle? Are we taking the favourite on?
Yeah, there's lots of question marks in it. You wouldn't actually be surprised if Hurricane Lane hacked up with you. I do think he actually really liked soft ground because he was, he was a very, very comfortable winner of the Grand Prix de Paris on bad ground, very close third to Torquato Tasso in that horrible ground. He's very much the one to beat. So was Creative Force earlier in the week for Charlie Appleby, though he got beaten in the sprint race. So they don't all win. I'd probably have a couple of quid on Max Vega just because he likes the course so much. You've still got the dead 8 at the moment. Each way, he's only been out 32 once in 5 starts. Won the race last year, won on heavy ground here last year as well. I think he's going to be there or thereabouts.
Okay, again, I don't know what's going on, Keels, but I've no idea what horse you've just tipped. Can you just say the name?
It's that bad.
It's that bad.
I went really quiet.
No,
Max Vega.
I know. Max Vega.
Max Vega.
Max Vega.
Max Vega. Each way.
For
You're not literally.
What? Sorry, you're doing it now. This is. I'm losing my mind here. I'm in a breakdown.
Can you not lip read? You must be able to lip read. You're a man of many talents.
I can lip read, but his mouth's off the camera as well. Oh, Keels, I miss you. I really do. Tom Segal, Hurricane Lane 10-11. Yay or nay?
Yeah, I think he's probably different class to these. Had a workout, didn't he, at Newmarket in the week, so I don't think he's going to lack in fitness. Mojo Star was pulled out, wasn't he, at Nottingham the other day because the ground was too soft. I mean, you boys up there with your suntans in Ayr, you don't know how bad it's been down here. It's not stopped raining. It's just actually, well, it has actually stopped raining just now, funnily enough. But it's been raining all day. I thought it was times were incredibly slow at Newbury today, so be worried about him on the ground. Israel's surely not good enough. Got to take a huge step up. I thought Max Vega, as Kealy said, likes Newbury. Would go well again, but for me, Hurricane Lane should win this.
Okay, Hurricane Lane is a 10 to 11 shot then at Newbury tomorrow. The 205 we're going to look at as well. We saw some classic trials at Newmarket. We've got some classic trials at Newbury, of course. The Fred Darling, the fillies here over 7 furlongs. We had an impressive Richard Hannon Ammo Racing winner of the equivalent at Newmarket. Could we see the same again with Magical Sunset? But the favourite is Remarquee at 3-1. Magical Sunset is 5s with Bridestone. Swing Along 13-2. Olivia Miranda is 8-1. Soul's Sister 10s. Stenton Glider 12s and 16-1 bar those. Again, the form split very much by impressive novice winners and horses who've proven themselves in listed and group races as juveniles, Tom. So Remarquee is interesting. I mean, I think it was a wildly impressive win at Salisbury, but if you'd have said to me this horse is going to come out in the spring and win a classic a Guineas trial, I'd be pretty surprised. I thought they might be doing the Rafe Beckett back end of the season thing again. Well,
possibly, but you would have probably said the same about Mama's Girl, wouldn't you, in the Nell Gwyn during the week? The difference is Remarquee is 3-1. Mama's Girl was 25-1 or something, wasn't she? So plenty short enough because she's not got the form, has she? I mean, I don't mind backing those fillies when they're 25-1. I don't really want to back them when they're 3-1. We saw that with Capice, didn't we, in the Nell Gwyn? Started 2-1. I was having one on the all weather. It was a terrible price. She was hopeless. So for me, I got to take on Remarquee. Same for Bridestones. I thought Magical Sunset and Swing Along stood out on form. Swing Along, you've got to worry about the ground. She is by showcasing, so there's a chance you might like it. But I thought Magical Sunset had a massive chance, really. Beat Sakia, the Mill Reef winner, on her debut. She won by miles here on heavy ground over course and distance last season. Richard Hannon came after the Nell when he came out and said, "I've got 2 for the Guineas. This one's just as good as Mama's Girl." For me, 5-1 Magical Sunset's a pretty good bet.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a particularly good race at Newbury and behind, but like you said, she absolutely mullered them and. I thought she ran quite well every run. Even the 2 defeats were invaluable sales races. So, I think she's very interested. Keels, in 5 words or less. In Morse code, what do you make of the Fred Darling?
Right. Well, I'm going to do my best and talk really quietly. Is that any good?
Yeah, that's all right, yeah.
Right, okay. Magical Sunset for me. I think same as Tom. The Ammo horses are just really revved up first time out, aren't they? All of them have been this year so far. So she's going to run well. Bridestones is going to want probably more than a mile in future. Rafe Beckett was really complimentary about Remarquee last year, so she might be very good. And she's obviously very well backed. I think Cole were 8th on opening show, so interested in the money for that. But Magical Sunset, form in the book, and the Ammo racing horses are just really, really firing.
Okay, there we go. Lovely stuff. Cut up a little bit in the middle, but we got the vast majority of that, and I believe that's a vote for Magical Sunset for Keels, for Tom, and for me, Simon. Are you going to make it a rare 4-timer?
Yeah, I am, absolutely. Yeah, I think you've got a great chance. I mean, we're paying 4th place on this, a really, really competitive Fred Darling. I think you've got to take on the favourite Remarquee. Richard Hannon's horse, I think he had a couple of seconds today. Obviously won the Nell Gwyn with Mama's Girl. I mean, Ammo Racing, I think here Jerabashian is a demanding owner by all accounts, as he would be. He spends a lot of money. He's got a hell of a lot of horses. How many runners has he had this week? And it feels like he's clearly told all his trainers he wants to hit the ground running, because no matter who they're trained by, they're running well or winning. So tomorrow Magical Sunset, I think it's going to be more of the same. And she looks a decent price. She has shortened in. I imagine that's Tom's tip, 4s from 5s. But when all 4 of us tip them, even when you can hardly hear Paul, that's a good sign.
That is a good sign indeed. There you go, Magical Sunset ×4 it is for the Fred Darling then. Let's move on to the Greenham. In theory, a little bit easier for the Colts. Chaldean is 8-11 favourite. Knight is 5-1. Theory of Everything 11-1. Streets of Gold 14s with Charin. Zoology Isaac Shelby 16-1 bar those. And again, Tom. I mean, this is very different to the race we've just previewed, in the sense you've got an absolute standout performer and plenty of windmill tilting up against him.
Yeah, I mean, undoubtedly, Chaldean's got the best form, hasn't he? Dewhurst's form's probably, it's really, really strong, isn't it? I just thought that last year he needed his first run. This is going to be very testing ground. It's a get-it-ready run for the Guineas. 8-11, not for me. I thought there were plenty in there that were going to love the conditions. Knight won the Horace Hill very, very easily on soft ground. But the one I liked was Theory of Everything. Best bred horse in the race by a country mile, by Frankel out of Persuasive, who won, I think it was a Group 1 on heavy ground. He absolutely loved the heavy ground at Doncaster on his comeback run, on his debut run. He's got plenty to prove in terms of form, but the difference between him and Remarquis is, one, he's had a run. Two, we know he loves the soft ground. And three, and well, that's it. Those two, not three, just two. He's fit and he likes the ground, and he's trained by a genius in John Gosden. So for me, it was Theory of Everything had a very good each way chance against the favourite here. Chaldean's the best horse, but if he's going to get beaten, it will be today or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow, yeah. I mean, yeah. If he gets beat today, then, well, I don't know what's happening. He's off to Kilbeggan. But Chaldean is 8-11 favourite here. Keels again. You can't be backing an 8-11 shot, can you, in the race like this? Even if you do think he'll win, what's the biggest danger to him?
No, if you just replay Tom again, then I won't have to speak and break up all the sound and all that.
I didn't hear what you said.
No way.
It's just that I don't know what to tell you. Let's just keep it simple. Tell me the name of a horse, 5 words, and we'll move on. Theory of Everything, just as Tom said. Beautiful. There we go. Lovely stuff. Simon Clare, the Greenham Chaldean. Guineas price currently, do we have for this Greenham?
I've got that, yeah. I mean, he's the second favourite along with Little Big Bear at 5-1 behind August Rodine at 11-4. So, I mean, he's 8-11. If he was to be impressive, he could be challenging for favouritism. Frankie Dettori, his farewell tour for the next 6 months. It's going to be, every single meeting will be his last. So this is his last Greenham. So, if he was to win and win well, he could be on the favourite for 2,000 guineas, which would be great. So that would be something to promote a couple of weeks on Newmarket. Knight, I thought was interesting. He's been very well backed, 5-1. Cost a lot of money. The Christmas team are Trudy's. See him going well, but I think I think Chaldean is obviously the best form in terms of 2-year-old form, best horse in 2-year-old form, and I'd like Frankie to win. And, have a Frankie already hot pot going into Newmarket.
Yeah, although admittedly, if it carries on like this week he might be retiring by Sunday. I think he's had one winner and finished on place on all the rest. So we'll see how Chaldean goes. But anyway, it's been a trial, guys. It's been a trial. We need to invest in some travel microphones, I believe, for our next tour around the country potentially. But we'll just reiterate: Theory of Everything. Potential alternative against Chaldean for our tipsters. So, okay, we're going to get the naps. Hopefully the microphones will hold up for those selections, and they'll be coming up after this. There you go then. Let's get the naps on a big Saturday then. Will it be from Ayr? Will it be from Newbury? Might be in the Spring Cup, who knows? Another big betting race tomorrow. Mine might be if I'm feeling particularly contentious, but let's find out what Paul Kealy's nap will be on Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to go Soaring Glory in the Scottish Champion Hurdle.
And I heard every word. Perfect. Tom Segal.
I'm going for magical sunset in the Phillies race at Newbury.
I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. There we go. Magical sunset. It's Simon Clare.
I love that. Well done, Tom Segal. Oscar Elite in the 150. Very, very confident.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that was a 101 job, wasn't it? Absolutely. After the case you made for him earlier, and I'll go for Jimi Hendrix then in the Spring Cup tomorrow. Given his name, it's unsurprising that he often comes on for the experience. So there we go. There's the naps. Hopefully, we'll get Paul Kealy back in the studio, or at the very least, we'll get him a call centre-esque headset for next time out. But gentlemen, thanks ever so much. Thank you everyone to watching, and I hope you enjoyed that Newbury and Ayr double tomorrow, and maybe 2 or 3 of you will pick out a Coral Scottish national winner as well. Good night.